Title Extreme Wrestling, my name is Brendan Plays. Welcome back to another edition of the series. A couple of weeks away from Fyter Fest, we have Aew Dark all ready to go. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. And on the pre-show, it is TJ cutting a promo to hype themselves up. And we also had Bear Country versus the Lucha Bros in the pre-show. 53 rated match. Lucha Bros excellent, 69 and 63 for them, of course. Bear Country, still a young up-and-coming tag team. Good opportunity for them to work with a better team, just to try and maybe give them a bit of popularity, if not a little bit of experience as well. Well, stay out there, Phoenix and Penta, because Park is coming in for a promo, and he is sick and tired of the lack of competition. 86 rated promo from Park. Wow. So we did change our product settings, and this is the first time that we're probably really putting it into play. And I don't know, I mean, 86, that's a huge number, so we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but that is great from Park. So Death Triangle all out there and will benefit from that one. Ricky Starks took on Joey Janela for a 45 rated match. Starks picked up the win. We had Kip Sabian ringside for this one. And speaking of Kip Sabian, Ricky Starks came along and spat on Kip Sabian, who was ringside. And when Kip Sabian wiped it off his face and was absolutely fuming, obviously, Ricky Starks ran for his life. He got the hell out of there. So, yeah, a bit of a dirty tactic from Ricky Starks. Obviously, Kip Sabian's ringside, just watching the match. And post-match, Starks just showed him how much he cares, or showed no respect at all to Kip Sabian. So 36 for that segment. Brandy and Velvet teamed up to take on Leva Bates and Shanna for 35. So this match just, I reckon, probably just got over the line without getting penalized for not being on the pre-show. So that's probably one of the reasons why Brandy gets a bit of praise from me, because she's one of the only women that can get on the main show. So thank goodness that we had her. Of course, Brandy and Velvet picked up the win. Alright, we had the Good Brothers. They were cutting a promo with Don Callis, and they talk about how they just don't understand the hype about the Jurassic Express. They bragged about the win that they had recently over them on Rampage, so they teamed up with Santana and Ortiz, and they won that 8-man tag team match. So the Good Brothers are just not seeing it. They just don't see the hype. So another promo heading up their match at Fyter Fest, if we can find time on the card for it. I'd like to think we will. I think it'll be a decent match, but we'll try and squeeze it on the card. Alright, we had Powerhouse Will Hobbs and Christian Cage doing a bit of a weigh-in segment. So, Mark Henry insisting that we see how big and tough Will Hobbs is in comparison to Christian Cage. So Christian getting a bit of a reality check here, just how big Will Hobbs is. So the weigh-in goes down fairly well, 60 rated. Will Hobbs didn't quite perform all that well, but the rest was pretty good. Christian benefiting from having a good catchphrase at the moment. So 60 rated, not too bad. The storyline's going fairly well so far. Hopefully we don't, ruin the storyline heat too much in the next couple of shows, so we can keep it fairly high. Adam Page cuts a promo and he talks about his rivalry with Kenny Omega and all the history that goes along with it. So 74 rated for that one. So trying to boost the storyline for the Fyter Fest Qualifier after it dropped recently because of the Cage and Page match. And the main event, the Hardys, once again in the main event here on Dark, working with another young tag team of Top Flight. The Hardys picked up the win with Jeff Hardy 75, Matt Hardy 65, Dante 26, Darius 29. So good opportunity for Top Flight to work with the Hardys and get that benefit from it. And a 53 rated match is decent. But overall, in the storyline, we are having the Hardys picking up wins over teams in AEW to try and prove that they are worthy of a tag team title match. 58 is the rating for tonight's episode of Dark. Pretty good. AEW Dynamite, let's go ahead and look at the results on the pre-show. Will Hobbs had a squash match against a local guy, Barrett Brown, and it was a 21 rated match. Will Hobbs 43, Brown 21. Nice quick and easy win for Will Hobbs. Jake Hager had a match against Peter Avalon. Wanted to see Hager sits as a competitor. Should we start using him more? Are we missing out on anything? 64 from Hager, so not too bad. I think it's a few points above his popularity. So yeah, look, I think he could definitely be an option for us in the upper mid card, maybe a low tier main event guy. I guess we just have to try and find him an opponent. 57 is not too bad for the match against Peter Avalon. On the main show, so we've probably shifted gears a little bit here. We'll talk more about this in a second, but Adam Page, Kenny Omega are out there with the man himself, Sting, the GM, I suppose. And they're signing a contract for tonight's main event, making it official, which will be Page and Omega as part of the Fyter Fest qualifying tournament final. MJF interrupts and he starts bragging about how he doesn't really care who wins tonight because he knows he could beat either of them and he's not worried at all. So MJF's going to be sitting on the sidelines a little bit here. We insert him into this to try and start to ramp up this storyline. And it did pretty well, 94 rated for this segment, so we'll talk more about this after the main event. The Wild Things are back in action. They took on the Acclaim for 65, Moxley 85, Kingston 57. The Acclaim not so great, 32 from Bowens, 26 from Caster. So yeah, again, we talked about it last episode, how Moxley is just really starting to elevate some of the lower tag teams. That's going to be his role, to try and elevate Kingston and a few other tag teams. And so far, so good. Moxley did really, really well here. The Hardys once again call out the Young Bucks and say that they have more than proven that they deserve a title shot. So they've had a lot of wins in the last few weeks. They believe that they are ready for that title shot at Fyter Fest. Frankie Kazarian took on Ortiz one-on-one as a part of the SCU and Proud and Powerful storyline. Santana interrupted and allowed Ortiz to pick up the win, so SCU once again losing here, but a good match, 60 rated here. Ortiz 62, Kazarian 46. That's a solid match. We had Eddie Kingston continuing to try and convince Moxley that they should keep on teaming up. So, Eddie Kingston was able to convince Sting to give he and Moxley another match tonight to try and, convince Moxley that, hey, this is working, we should keep this going. So Moxley's still not convinced, but he's starting to warm up to it a little bit more. 77 for that segment. Rio and Diamante teamed up to take on Britt Baker and Jade Cargill. So the two women's storylines combined here. Not too bad. Baker and Cargill got the win after Rebel interfered and allowed Baker to pin Rio. Diamante 34, Rio 41, Jade 29, and Baker 42. Well, we had a women's match on Dynamite again, and it didn't fail, so that's a positive sign. Maybe changing the product settings has allowed us to have some of the lower card matches appear on the main show again. I have to try and test it out, but I'm hopeful that will be the case. Post-match, Jade and Britt Baker beat down Rio and Diamante, so adding insult to injury for that one. 39 for that segment. Chris Jericho is talking about Sammy Guevara to Cody Rhodes. So he's backstage, finds Cody, starts talking to him about his match with Sammy, and Chris requests that Cody go a little easy on Sammy Guevara to try and, let Sammy down a little bit gently. So Chris is actually maybe going against Sammy Guevara here. Obviously, Chris Jericho lost to Cody Rhodes, so maybe Chris Jericho believes that if I can't beat Cody, then how the hell is Sammy Guevara going to be able to beat Cody? So Chris Jericho kind of working against his former tag team partner in a way and maybe insulting him a little bit here by saying he should go easy on Sammy to Cody Rhodes. So we'll talk more about that next time and add a little bit more into that storyline. We had the Pinnacle teaming up. FTR and Sean Spears teamed up to take on the Varsity Blondes and Dustin Rhodes. 51 rated. Brian Pillman and Julie Hart have no chemistry together, so maybe we'll have to rethink that strategy. Cash and Dax, 71 apiece. Sean Spears was good, 45. Dustin, 49. Griff, 31. And Pillman, 27. We had Ryan Nemeth get himself involved to screw over Griff Garrison to cost him the match and allow the Pinnacle to pick up an easy win. So I wanted to get the Pinnacle in a match here. Obviously FTR haven't done a lot, and Spears were trying to elevate him by teaming him with the Pinnacle. Not sure if it'll work, but 51 rated match is decent. Pillman does not want Julia Hart as his manager. I might change that to give them neutral chemistry because I like that combination. Park took on Stu Grayson and made it his 10th defense of the TNT Championship. So Park still has not a lot of great competition. He's kind of working through the lower card guys here in AEW. 71 for the match, which is pretty good. Park 79, Stu Grayson 42. So it was a good match, and hopefully that'll elevate Stu Grayson a little bit. Team Taz are discussing Brian Cage's recent loss and the future of the team, and talking about, of course, Kip Sabian as well to advance that storyline. 61 for that segment, pretty good. And our main event, Kenny Omega and Adam Page, 82 rated. These two certainly delivered in the big dance. It's a 20-minute time limit draw. So both guys couldn't beat each other. They couldn't find a winner. So Omega 85, Page 77. Great match between the two. So, it's hard to have one of these guys lose. It's just one of those feuds that has just been going and going, and these guys know each other so well. They probably can't beat one another. They don't have a move that would beat one another. But in the end, MJF, he was on commentary for the big main event. He gets on the mic afterwards and starts laughing and says, look, I guess I've got the night off now. These guys can't find a winner. It's a draw. We can't have a match. Instead, Sting, who obviously has a lot of history with MJF, decides to make it a triple threat match instead. Screwing over MJF, Sting may have the last laugh between this little rivalry here after all. So 80 rated for that angle, which was pretty good. So I was never originally going to do a triple threat match, but I figured we've done Page and Omega a fair few times now. A triple threat match, or at least give it a little bit of something a little bit different. And MJF hasn't been doing a lot lately. He's going to be on the card anyways, but I suppose maybe MJF can beat someone without having Page or whoever we want to have not lose, whether it's Omega, whether it's Page. I don't know, or maybe we even have MJF lose the belt without him taking the pin. I don't know, there's a few options we can go with, but at least it spices it up a little bit. And we do have a pretty solid show, 77 overall, 2,037 people attended here in Houston. So, big thumbs up, a great main event. Park had a good match as well, a couple of really good segments, and quite honestly, majority of the matches in this one were pretty good. So, 77 is definitely a great show. Post-show results for Dynamite, as we said, 77 rated. We had 954,000 viewers, 1.27 TV rating. Very good stuff indeed. NXT had a 73 rated, 606,000 viewers. So for once, we actually did defeat NXT, which is always nice. And here is the contracts. Malachi Black will finally sign with us. My goodness, we had to throw the checkbook at him. $75,000 per month. Oh my God. What am I doing? 2-year contract. He gets 45% of the merchandise or something ridiculous. He gets a 20% bonus per pay-per-view. Ah, man, it's a lot of money. So it's a big decision, Is he worth the money? I don't think so, but I guess we try and replicate what's going on in real life and see how he goes. But yep, we've signed him. Let's do it. Let's complete the signing. And in terms of what he's going to be, I think he's got to be a babyface for us. So we'll have a look at the top stars. So here are the heels. So we've got, FTR, let's ignore them. But as the singles, we have Jericho, we've got Christian, we've got Omega, we've got MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Park. Pretty loaded. We're going to be turning the Young Bucks as well. So if you want to count them, which we probably wouldn't, that they're coming over that side too. The babyface side of things, you got Adam Page, both the Hardys, Cody Rhodes, Moxley, as we said, we've got Young Bucks there switching over, and Paul White. So, in main event talent, if we add in Malachi Black, I feel like that's pretty even. I feel like that's a pretty good addition. Further down the card, this is where the problem is. We've only got Miro as an upper mid-card star. Then it's, you're looking at Jungle Boy, Darby Allin's out injured, and can't really look at him. Orange Cassidy, I don't know. So there's not a lot further down the card on the face side of things, which is probably the biggest trouble that we've had. Heel side of things, you got Brian Cage, Jake Hager, Lance Archer, and you got the Lucha Bros as well if you want to. Wardlow's an option as well at some point. So there is a little bit more talent on the heel side of things further down the card. But in terms of the main event split, I feel like it's pretty even now if we add in Malachi Black as a bayface there. So yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't like how we have to pay a ridiculous amount. It is a huge amount. But you never know. Let's hope it pays off. Let's hope he has a big debut. I guess the most logical entry point for him is the match with Park. I think Park hasn't got an opponent. You add in Malachi Black versus Park right off the bat, and probably give Malachi Black the belt and have him run with it for a while. I think would be a pretty good entry point to get him in there. You could even have Park wanting competition, demanding it, and then maybe running away or refusing to fight Malachi Black at Fyter Fest. That way we don't waste the match straight away. We get a bit of build towards it for Fight for the Fallen. So that might be the way to get him in there and get him kick-started. So I don't mind that. Chuck Taylor's contract is expiring. I'm not a huge fan of Chuck Taylor, but Best Friends is not a bad tag team. At the moment, he has an exclusive written contract. So he's on $8,500 per month. Wow. So I don't think we'll be going to give him that sort of money, but I will re-sign him to another deal, maybe $600 per show. That will certainly cut down our costs as well. That's a lot less than $8,500 a month. That is for sure. All right, Rampage is booked. Let's get into it. MJF opens up the show. He, of course, is furious that he has to defend the championship in a triple threat match. The Pinnacle's out there with him. They're obviously not happy as well that their man MJF could be in a bit of trouble at Fyter Fest. Christian Cage had a match with Trent, 70 rated. Wow, pretty good. Christian 73, Trent 50. And of course, Mark Henry on commentary, Will Hobbs ringside as well, watching on and scouting out their upcoming opponent. Chris Jericho is backstage, and Sammy Guevara clearly upset with Jericho, demanding answers as to why Jericho asked Cody to go easy on Sammy Guevara. Why would he want him to go easy? Well, of course, as we know, Jericho, he believes if I can't beat Cody, then Sammy Guevara can't do it. So Sammy Guevara not really happy that Jericho doesn't believe in him. Maybe Jericho's jealous of Sammy Guevara's rise. Maybe Jericho's trying to hold Sammy Guevara down. There's a lot of factors that could go into this. But maybe Jericho just wants Sammy Guevara not to be too disheartened if he takes a loss. Maybe Jericho's looking out for Sammy. There's a couple of different ways you could look at this. Sammy Guevara not happy either way. 87 between these two guys for that segment. We had the Inner Circle, the other members of the Inner Circle, Santana Ortiz and Jake Hager teamed up. They took on SCU for a 62 rated match. Of course, we've got Proud and Powerful. They're feuding with SCU. So nice way to break up the match without having the tag team match, the 2-on-2. So we go with a 3-on-3 instead. Jake Hager gets involved. He was pretty good in his pre-show match, so I'm starting to maybe think about using him a little bit more. And he was the best in the match here, 67. Ortiz 66, Santana 65 as well. But in the end, we actually did something a little bit different. Scorpio Sky helped SCU pick up the win. So they got a roll-up win, surprise win. SCU escaped with a win. So the reason why I had Scorpio Sky get the pin is because obviously Daniels is about to retire. Kazarian, I don't know if we're going to push him anytime soon. And Scorpio could use a bit of a popularity boost. So we gave him the win instead. So SCU actually get a winner here over the Inner Circle to, obviously spice the feud up. In the end, SCU will lose, but this way they at least get something out of this feud. Park storms into Sting's office and he demands competition. So Sting says, look, I have been scouting the world. I've been trying to find someone. I guarantee that I'll have someone ready to go for you in the near future. So, instead of Park whinging every week and complaining, hey, where is my competition? Well, Sting says, I will find someone for you soon. 74. Main event, Jeff Hardy, probably his best match since coming back, took on Nick Jackson. So it's been tag team matches that's been the key for the Hardys over the last few weeks. Well, instead, this time, to prove that they are worthy of a title shot, we go with the singles route. Jeff defeating Nick Jackson here. 79 rated match, Nick 79, Jeff 70. Good stuff all around here. Good match. And now the Hardys have, I suppose, earned the right. And the Young Bucks agree. The Young Bucks agree to a match with the Hardys at Fyter Fest for the Tag Team Championship. So there we go. This match is on. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty good. The Hardys have improved a lot. For a few weeks there, I was saying, man, I think I should have gotten rid of Jeff Hardy. I don't think he's worth it. But, he has benefited a lot from the change of product settings a little bit. But in saying that as well, regardless, I think he's improved anyways. I think he's starting to find his ground. It's certainly his stride as a tag team wrestler. That's the key. Although, pretty good singles match here. Gives us a 75 rated edition of Rampage. So a few back-to-back solid shows here. We're starting to gain a bit of momentum. 2,300 people attended, this time at Oklahoma City. Alright, let's look at all the news and tidbits after the show. So, Kairi Sane joining with the NWA. That's a nice little get for them. And our Rampage viewership, 824,000 viewers, 1.09. Pretty good edition of Rampage. I'm pretty happy with that, quite honestly. Speaking of the NWA, so we decided to start making a few deals, improving our relationships with a few different companies. So obviously we've got a pre-existing relationship with Impact Wrestling, so we can send guys to Impact, we can get guys from them. Same with AAA, we haven't really used them too much yet. But we decided to pair up with the NWA and potentially do a bit of a talent trade agreement with them. So maybe sending some of our women especially to go have a few matches there. I even gave them FTR for one night to, just help the NWA out and give some of our, top guys who aren't really in the mix a chance to go work somewhere and have some decent matches. We do that currently with Impact, but Impact are very picky about who they want. Whereas the NWA are a little bit more open to taking some of our lower card talent, which is a real bonus for us. We're trying to do the same with New Japan, but they haven't really, they're not really interested in taking any of our wrestlers yet. But we do have now a decent relationship, and we're trying to improve that. And we still have a pretty negative relationship with NXT as well. So, yeah, we'll see how the NWA relationship spans out and turns out. I'm not sure if we've had anyone wrestle there yet. We'll have a quick little look. I don't think it's going to do too much for our talent or anything like that, but it might, you never know, it might do some good things. They don't have anyone in their roster that I'd probably be interested in taking on. Maybe Camilla, I think it is. She could be alright for some short period of time, maybe a couple of matches, maybe a match against Jade Cargill. Maybe you never know, that could be fun. But they do, I think, 3 or 4 tapings at a time. So we'll have to wait and see if anyone of our wrestlers features soon. Obviously, as I said, we sent them FTR. I think Anna Jay got an opportunity there as well, and probably a few others. So yeah, so we'll keep an eye out for that, but it's a good chance for some of our wrestlers to do something a little bit different, because at the moment, if they're not on our 3 shows, they're not getting used, and that's a bit of a problem because we don't have house shows. So some guys aren't getting much opportunity, so sending them elsewhere, yes, there's a small injury risk, but for the most part, it's just, a win-win for us, and they get a bit of experience, maybe gaining a bit of popularity while they're at it. And speaking of popularity, let's have a quick little look. So I'm going to start further down the card, because obviously we gave Scorpio Sky a win, and we'll see if he gained anything. So he's at 43 popularity now. He gained the 1 point over Santana and Ortiz. So Santana, He's got 54 rated popularity. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be dropping too much. I don't think there's too much to be concerned about. Same with Ortiz. Yeah, those two guys have got plenty of popularity to give out. You know, they continue to gain it pretty easily. Sammy Guevara, no real change despite some good segments. MJF, 81, he's just gaining and gaining popularity, quite honestly with you. Jeff Hardy, he had a big win over Nick Jackson, who I don't think dropped, but Jeff Hardy certainly gained. 73 now in the Southwest. That is huge. That is fantastic movement. Chris Jericho, 82 in the Southwest, 84 in the Southeast. He's killing it there. So there's a few notable changes there, which is great to see. And of course, Malachi Black, at the moment, he's considered to be just a star, not a major star, but that's a good starting point for him anyways. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him debut very, very soon. And as for everyone else, I don't think there's any more changes. I might check and see if we've gotten Will Hobbs and maybe Sean Spears any popularity. Will Hobbs, 38 popularity in the Southeast, 27 in the other areas. That's okay. And Sean Spears, he got a win. He still just can't gain popularity to save himself, quite honestly. It just isn't quite working for him. But at the moment, our Fyter Fest card is pretty much all locked in. Plenty of matches here. I don't think we'll get them all on the main show. So I've got 3 pre-show matches lined up, and the rest of the card is all set here, with the main event being MJF, Omega, and Page. That match I feel could be a match of the year candidate. I think that's going to be a really, really solid match for us. But with that being said, Fyter Fest is one more week away, so one more Dynamite and Rampage, then it is Fyter Fest. Looking forward to it. Try and improve our storylines ahead of that. So far, they are pretty solid, but always more work to be done. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like on it if you did, and subscribe to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one.